Hey, I have something here which, normally it was something I was looking into because I do reporting on some of the fraud that is investigated by the Office of Inspector General and some of the charges or convictions or sentences or all of the above when someone has committed um, crimes, thefts, frauds against Social Security or Social Security is somehow implicated. The administration, whether it's SSI benefits, SSD, etc. Um, and so I'm reading one, and this would normally go under the fraud law review, which I typically put out on Friday. But there were so many other implications that I thought, gosh, this is really kind of important otherwise. And I'm going to explain that in 1 second, if I could just get my page up. There it is. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. You know me. Not the most tech-savvy person in the world. Here we go. For some reason, it's being a real pain. So this actually occurred in Iowa, and it involves theft of funds, of government funds. And, I was reading it and I saw, that's kind of not a major sentence, so what did he do? Should it have been more? I don't really know that it was so horrible. I'll get to that later. But here's the thing that makes me want to, hold on, I'm just making it bigger because I'm blind. As you've heard me say before. Here's what happened. So I bring this up because you know how so many people say you can't get, you're not going to get CDR'd or taken off for not being disabled after you're 60. Some people think that's true at 50. It's true for none of the above. Can the risks go down when you're in your 60s? Of course. I mean, there's other reasons for that, but it's not due to some hands off because you're in your 60s and you're still on Social Security disability. And even if you get better, they're not going to take you off. None of that is true, but you'll still hear people claim it. Okay, here's an example. So I wanted to put it out there. It's not my caseload that I could say this about or people that have come to me. It is literally out of the horse's mouth of the OIG. Okay, so I'm going to mention this fellow's name, Clarence Soper. He's out of Iowa. Well, it's an Iowa man, but it's out of the District Court of South Dakota. So he was sentenced, pled guilty, and was sentenced on December 18th, 2023. So that was very recently. He has to pay back $13,000 plus and have 3 years of probation. And that's basically a sentence. So you think, oh, that's kind of like a slap, not a big deal. So what happened? Okay. And it's not the worst crime in the world, but it might have been if more time had been allowed to go by. It's just that he got caught, perhaps. Okay. Here's what happened. In 2010, Mr. Soper was awarded Title II disability benefits after a cancer diagnosis. So he was advised of the receipt of benefits that he was also to he was supposed to advise the SSA of significant life events that would need to be reported. This is true for everyone. And that would include such thing as employment, they tell you that, or medical status change. Okay. It turns out, so that's in 2010. At some point, he goes through a CDR. Guess when that's completed, guys? 2020. How old is Mr. Soper in 2020? Well, I did my little math here. If he was 64 in 2023 when he was sentenced, that means he was 54 in 2013. He was obviously diagnosed with the cancer around 51. In 2020, he was 61 years old. That's when they completed their CDR in his 60s, guys. He was found to be cancer-free, the diagnosis in that CDR. So he was notified that his benefits would cease because he's not disabled anymore because of the CDR in his 60s, and he was going to be terminated from benefits. He appealed. I'm guessing he appealed on his own. It doesn't say. I would have to imagine he has other impairments though, like, did he present those? I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here. But he was advised that his benefits would cease in November. He requested reconsideration appeal. We've talked about that. We have videos on reconsideration. And therefore, he must have asked for his benefits to continue pending appeal, and his benefits did resume in December. So that's December of 2020. He remained cancer-free, and he began working while his file was under reconsideration. He did not report that he continued to be cancer-free, nor did he never reported it to begin with, apparently. That was found under CDR. And he never reported that he went back to work while the SSA, while he continued to receive those SSD benefits. So point number one, yes, you can be CDR'd in your 60s and lose your benefits. It's right there. And I will link the article. It's as always, the Office of Inspector General. Not that I wouldn't take stuff out of a newspaper either, but this is just where I get my stuff, right from the horse's mouth. It was dated December 26th. I should add, this is the most recent report that they've put out, which is kind of old now. It's a few weeks old. Usually they're a little more quickly. I guess they're maybe on vacation. So, all right. So the myth of you can't be canceled out in your 60s is false. But also it's a good pointer outer that, if your medical status that you filed on significantly resolves like that, you kind of have to let them know, or else you could be stuck at two like this guy was. That's not to say something general, like that doesn't mean if they overturned you on a CDR it's because you didn't report something. No, most things are very general and gradual. I'm guessing his whole case was on the cancer and the cancer fight. And if this was his first CDR, it was 7 years later. They probably didn't expect it to be cancer-free. He's a very fortunate fellow, potentially here. But he also, and this is probably the bigger whammy, not the failure to report the cancer-free status, because you can be cancer-free and have so many post-chemo sequelae, brain fog, all these other horrible things. So I'm not really knocking that part too much. More so that because he did appeal for reconsideration, but then he started to work and he didn't report it. You have to report this stuff. He's continuing to get these benefits and he's not reporting the change in employment status. And for them, they found this to be fraudulent. A lot of times it's kind of blown off like, oh, they just didn't realize. So I don't think most people get nailed. This guy did. So I think it's really a drive home point that you have to, if you start to work and you're getting benefits, report it. Report it. It's a CYA for yourself. If you're working full time, of course it's going to end up, you're going to be out of your TWP. You're going to eventually be into your EPE, extended period of eligibility, and you're not going to be due any of the months that you make more than SGA when you're in that 3-year period. But you could very well be under SGA, and this wouldn't necessarily be a big deal, but you have to report it. And here they went after a guy, an older dude to boot. Not much older than me, but anyway, I just thought that would be a drive home point. I was going to put it up for Friday fraud law review, and I might, but I really got to put it to the playlist about, yes, you can be CDR'd in your 60s and your benefits removed. So this guy has a double whammy. His benefits are removed and he's also prosecuted and owes back money. So if he can't pay that money back now, and I guess he probably can if he's able to work. If he wasn't working, they would have to take it out of his future retirement benefits. That's how that would go. So, you can run, but you can't hide, right? All right. Have a great night, guys. Talk to you later.